Hi everyone, today's video will be based on the 2020 Audi Q3 SportBack. Audi says this car is practical, sporty, elegant and versatile since it's part SUV and part coupe. But instead, I think they should cut out all the BS and just say it's a lifted, all-wheel drive looking premium Golf. And my mission today is to find out if it's exactly that or something else. So let's begin this review. In terms of engines and engine sizes, it's actually quite a exhaustive and clustered list. Here we go, I'll start off with the petrol engines first. And you get a selection of 35, 40, 45 TFSI petrol engines producing 150 horsepower, 190 horsepower and 245 horsepower. Let's move over to the diesels. You get two engine choices, 35 TDI and 40 TDI. If I'm correct, yes, I will be correct on that. Definitely correct. And something to bear in mind with the 35 TDI petrol engine, it's only available in S-tronic gearbox only, which is pretty much this one. There's no worries if you are one of those eco-friendly geeks though, because Audi have produced a plug-in petrol hybrid mated to the 45 TFSI petrol engine, only putting out a battery range of 30 miles. And if you think that's going to save the environment, then you definitely need to book an appointment with your local GP. And that brings me on to the model variant that I'm currently reviewing, and it's the 2020 Audi Q3 SportBack with the 4-cylinder 2-litre TDI diesel engine producing about 150 horsepower and 266 pounds-foot of torque. 0 to 60 times are around 9.3 seconds and it tops out at 126 miles per hour. So it's a little bit slow, but it's all right for a family wagon. Something to bear in mind, this car has had a whole host of modifications as well. So I'll start off with the exterior first. It's been fully blacked out. You've got tints and your front headlights and tail lights have been tinted as well. In fact, I think it looks like a baby Urus. Let me know what you think when it's fully blacked out. One thing I've also noticed as well on the exterior, this car has the optional 19-inch twin spoke alloy wheels, which is quite rare. I don't see that very often on these Audi Q3 SportBacks. Anyway, as for the interior, it's got a OBD device plugged in which allows you to play video in motion, and it unlocks other features that the higher spec cars have. And lastly, as for the engine, it's had a tune which puts out a little bit more power, which is quite tasteful. As for price and running costs, the Audi Q3 SportBack starts from around £34,000. This is the base price, and if you want the S-Line version, which is this one, that's about £36,000. How does this stack up against the regular Audi Q3? Well, the base price for the Audi Q3 is about £31,000, and if you want the S-Line version, that's about £35,000. But don't be fooled, because if you want the S-tronic gearbox, which obviously everyone wants in this car, it adds about a additional £2,000 on top of the car's price. So it's more or less 40 grand Audi are lying. Anyway, we'll move on to the car tax, and that's about £165 per year as it emits 158 grams a kilometre of CO2. So at least that's cheap. And now let's move around the back end of the Audi Q3. And two things that I like around the back end of this car is the fact that it has sweeping indicators and a nice little diffuser. I know it's fake, but it looks pretty cool, you must admit. Anyway, let's talk boot space now, and you do get a power operated tailgate and 540 litres of space with the rear seats up and 1,400 litres of space with the rear seats down. As you can see, the owner has really took advantage of the space that he has. And finally, now let's move over to the interior of the Audi Q3 SportBack. And you know what, very pleased with this interior. It's actually quite similar to those found in the Audi A7, Audi A8, but it's just a smaller version. The only thing that I just don't like in this interior is the fact that the center console is just so low down in this car. Like, you can't, when you're just driving along, there's no real center armrest, to be fair, with this car. It's just, you could only rest your right elbow and that's about it. In terms of the Audi Q3 driving experience, you've got your S-Line steering wheel with the perforated sides and the leather wrapped top and bottom edges. I do really like this steering wheel. And then you've got your cockpit, of course, virtual display, 10.25 inch. This first came out in 2014 in the Audi TT, and it still hasn't aged one bit. You can cycle through a few views, which is quite nice. You could expand the map so it covers the whole screen. I think that looks pretty freaking dope. I want to point out two features that I particularly like in the interior of this car. One of them is that you get touch sensitive dome lights, and they are LEDs, and they come on super fast, which is pretty good, and they are super bright as well. And the other feature is the fact that you could change the little what's it called, the rev counter to red, so it's like the sportier version. I think that adds a little bit of you know, sportiness to the car. I mean, I guess they say it's a sporty car. There you go. One thing I've not quite quite understood about the Audi Q3 interior is why have Audi placed a little Audi badge here and then a blank line? Should it say Quattro there, or should it just like a blank slate for you to pop your signature? No idea why that's there, but we move on, we digress. So hitting the road in the 2020 Audi Q3, and first off, big shout out to Dev for lending me his car so I could do this review. He's like his brother, entrepreneur, businessman, and he's gone for a Audi Q3 SportBack now. Not a very fast car, but he's a family man now, so it's totally understandable. And also, if you are wondering how I drive these cars, I do insure them through Cover, and it's a very easy, simple, intuitive, short-term insurance provider. So I will leave the link to that app in the description box below. Make sure to click on it and download the app, and anytime you need to get insured on a mate's car, you can do through that app. It's super easy. So back to the Audi Q3 SportBack, and what do I think? It is one hell of a comfortable car to drive. It's so relaxing. It is so relaxing. And I'm sitting in the S-Tronic version, so it's the DCT with the 7-speed automatic gearbox, and the gear shifts are just rapid. Don't even notice them. As for general acceleration, it's pretty good. Do you know what? That's pretty good actually. Seems like, I mean, this car has had a tune, but it seems like way more. I think it's pushing a lot of torque. I don't think it's that excessively big. I mean, it might be a struggle down country lanes. From my perspective, it feels quite, I don't know, small, and then you look at the mirror and you can see the big haunches that look like a Bentley Bentayga, and it actually is quite a big car. But I do love the virtual cockpit in this car. It is so helpful. Right guys, now let's launch the Audi Q3 SportBack. Now I've only got one chance of this because it's Dev's car and it's not my car, so we've got to make sure it counts. Let's put it in sport mode on the gearbox, sport mode on the Audi Select system, and are we ready? Watch my body. Does it go back? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, that was a little bit quick. That was decent. I like that. That was decent. That was quite funny. Struggled to gain traction there, but that was class. So guys, that's a little in-depth tour and review on the 2020 Audi Q3 SportBack. What do you guys think of it? I think it looks like a baby Urus. Do you guys think that? Or, I don't know, it's a baby Urus on a massive budget. I don't think I'll ever get one, like I mentioned. I think it's way too pricey. What, 35 grand for this car? That's too much. I'm out. I'd rather get a hot hatch or something like that that's more fun and probably has more space in the rear seats. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.